Good afternoon and happy Friday, y'all. It's the last Friday of January 29th, and today I am on fire. I'm excited to talk to you about something I am really passionate about, something that I talk to a lot of my clients about. You ready for it? I hope so. So the topic is stop giving 100% of your energy to your past. I'm just going to say it again. Stop giving 100% of your energy to the past. So this is what I see. People have a vision for themselves, right? They say, I know what I want. I'm going to get a new job. I'm going to start a side hustle. I'm going to start a family. I'm going to start my own business. I'm quitting my corporate job, whatever. Or I'm going back into the workforce. All of the above, right? You set your intention about what you're going to do. And that's great. That's awesome. All of those dreams are awesome. Whatever they are for you. I'm on board. I'm here to support you. But let me tell you what people do. People, when they want to make a shift in their life, and they want to make a change, let me tell you what we tend to do. Okay? What we tend to do is we continue to put all of our effort against the past. We continue to give all of our energy to what it is we're trying to leave. Does that not sound crazy? Right? So, and I'm talking about, type A's, especially women, especially people who feel like they can never, like that they have to maintain a super high standard, the perfectionists out there, the people who feel like they can't risk tarnishing 1 ounce of their reputation at all, at any moment, regardless of what their plans are. I'm talking to you guys, right? I love you guys, but when you make a decision to pivot and then you keep putting everything against like what you're trying to move away from, how do you possibly think you're going to move into the next? We're going to move into the next actually in the right energy and with speed and with determination, right? I mean, this is the issue. Like, this is what happens, right? People who are like, I gotta find another job. I'm in a toxic environment. Like, this is crazy. They end up, maybe they even overcompensating. Maybe they end up putting 110% into the job. And then they have no energy left to find the next job. Why do they do that? Here's some ideas. They do it because they feel guilty for leaving. They do it because they're still attached to the idea that they can make things work where they are. They're still trying to make people like them. They're still trying to show that they're worthy and get people to see how much value they have in all their superpowers, right? Well, if you already made the decision to move on, then, honey, you're going to have to let go. You're going to have to let go of the idea that there's still potential in where you are. Or that even if there is still potential, that you still don't want it because you've already decided you're moving towards this other thing, right? I'll give a personal example. So this was a little bit earlier in my career. And I was in a place where I wasn't being supported anymore. And frankly, I was being pushed out. And because I wasn't, at the end of the day, I wasn't liked by the people that need to like me to keep moving up in the organization. This was the era of the world in which people were order ranked, right? So like internal employees were competitive against each other because you were ranked against each other, which is just like the most toxic, ridiculous thing to do. But anyway, that's what was happening in the industry I was in the company I was in. And so what happens is if your brand is underperforming, somebody has to be the fall for that, right? Somebody has to get like a shit rating. And anyway, that was me. On and on. There was a number of reasons, right? So basically it was very clear. I gotta go. Like, I gotta go. This is not working for me. Like, I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm not being supported. No, I'm the scapegoat, whatever. And I'm not going to deny there was probably my own shit that was like causing things to go on. Because that was kind of before my own like realization of I have to look at myself and what's happening in these situations. But suffice it to say, I had made the clear decision I had to go. And I had been for months, right, applying to jobs and having interviews. And like shit was not coming together. It was not coming together. And I was like, what is going on? Like, it was an amazing company. The companies I had on my resume, like it shouldn't be an issue, you know, I'm making a change. And I wasn't even looking for promotion. I was looking for a lateral move. So, you know, I come home one day and I'm talking to my husband, right? And I can't even remember the nature of the conversation, but he, you know, he was just like, he asked me the question, something like, why are you still trying to make it work there? And whoa, that really stopped me in my tracks. I was like, right, like, why do I keep trying so hard at the place that I'm trying to leave? And I realized I still had so much energy wrapped up into that. I was like, so like, but you're gonna love me, you know, like that's where I was. Even though I was saying like, it's time to go, you know, I was still like with my microphone, like, please. And you know, after he said it, I was like, oh my God, you're right. You know what that means? You know what it means to stop putting 100% in? First of all, your 100%, my 100% is probably somebody else's, like, you know, 150%, right? Like we try so hard, you know, and we meaning like women, we meaning people of color, we meaning like anybody who's, you know, been knocked down a few times and trying to get back up, anyone who's got to overcome a few extra hurdles, you know, all of that, right? And so we don't know how to stop. Like, we don't know how to give less, you know, because we've been in the pattern of over giving. And so the giving less just feels like, oh, I can't even. Meanwhile, we've probably been giving 120% of what we have, you know, and we don't need to, right? Like we deliver extra, like that's not even necessary. Anyway, so what I realized is, okay, I really truly know that I need to leave this place. So I need to give less so that I can really put the energy into going to where I'm supposed to be next. The other piece of this is that I also have to be willing to deal with whatever the consequences are. Now, usually we tell ourselves the consequences are much harsher than what they really likely would be, right? Like, maybe the consequences you have in your head are, I'm going to get fired. Like if I don't give blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, who cares? Because you're going to be leaving anyway. And like, if you can just collect the unemployment, then freaking go ahead and do that. So that's like not actually like a worst case. That's actually probably a best case scenario because then you're getting paid while you're looking for your next job. I'm just saying, right? It's all about perspective. The other story you might be telling yourself is, oh my God, I'm going to like tarnish my reputation. I've worked so hard to build my reputation. Let me tell you, it is going to take a lot to tarnish a reputation that you built. It would take some really major F-ups, some really major, like, you know, losing trust for that to happen. So, you know, if you spend one less hour on that PowerPoint presentation, I don't think you're going to lose your reputation for having quality work. In fact, the hour that you probably were going to put into that was not going to be noticed because it was so like crossing T's and dotting I's that nobody's going to freaking notice anyway. Because who can? Because we're all moving so goddamn fast, right? Like, think about it. Okay, so like reputation isn't really a thing, right? But look, maybe you do have a real harsh manager. Maybe you do have somebody who's looking at everything really closely with a microscope because they don't know how to manage, they don't know how to lead because they're micromanagers. Okay, fine. So again, worst case scenario is you know, maybe you have a talking to, right? Maybe your boss is like, hey, like what's been going on, you know? So then you have that difficult conversation and you figure out how you're going to have that conversation. Maybe you talk about, you've got some personal things you're working through, which is true. Your personal thing meaning you're trying to find another job, right? Like you don't have to tell them everything, but whatever's authentic and true for you. Or maybe you have to reset expectations. Like, look, the way that I was working is not sustainable anymore. And so yes, I have to put in less so that I can still give you the amount of output that you want. It may not have every T crossed and I dotted, but this is the only way that I can deliver all the things that I need to deliver, right? So there's different ways, if in case that conversation did come to fruition, different ways to handle it. If you need freaking support with that, just let me know. I'm just saying, I know I'm all worked up over here, but this is the fundamental thing I think that holds people back from making the change sooner, from making the change on the timeline that they want. Is that you guys, you keep putting 110% into the past. You need to take it down a notch so that you can take that energy and put it into your future. Because the future is far greater than the past anyway. The future has greener pastures for sure. You know this, right? So you have to detach from the hooks that the past has on you. The hooks meaning the validation that you get, right? That people love you. Maybe they love you and appreciate you there. Maybe you're not leaving because it's, because you're miserable. Maybe you're leaving because you got better opportunities out there for yourself and you want to go after them. So maybe you're in, a really great situation, but maybe all that validation is keeping you there when really you're still trying to leave because you got bigger, better. You got bigger, better things you're trying to go after, So, and look, I say this to people, and I don't know what I got to do for it to really sink in, for you to really sit there and say, oh shit, yeah, I got to let go. I got to let go of this thing that I am walking away from so that I can really fully be in it. So I can really indicate to the universe, yeah, universe, I want another job. Yes, universe, I'm willing to make sacrifices. I'm willing to take the consequences so that I can move into my future and stop staying in the past and stop staying stuck where I am, where I'm not happy. I'm going to stop trying to prove myself because I got nothing to prove because I am perfect the way I am, And I think that's another big factor, right? That just the constant trying to prove yourself, the constant. And look, I know there's things in society that that make it difficult to do it any other way, but there is another way. The other way is for you to recognize that you are perfect the way you are. You are worthy of bigger, better. You're worthy of the next opportunity. You don't have to keep proving yourself to anybody. You just have to keep being you. That's all you got to do. You just got to let you be you. You know what? And if you're in environments where that's not freaking celebrated every day, you're not in the right environment. But I'm going on a whole nother tangent. I'm just saying, right? That we get, I think that people can get stuck in the never-ending loop of I gotta prove myself, and I was in the same loop myself. And in fact, I made a very concerted effort, again thanks to my own coach, where I had left a toxic environment and I was starting a new job. This was months later, and I consciously went into that going, you know what? I don't have anything to prove. I got the job. I did the job of proof. My proof was in all the conversations and in my experience, I got the job. Now, all I got to do is be me and do what I do well. And do what I do that got me hired, And there's nothing to prove because then you put all this pressure on yourself and all this crap. And rather than just let yourself be free and be who you are and let your superpowers shine, And let me tell you, that changed my life, changing that mentality and believing it and believing that I had nothing to prove, really accepting that, right. I don't need to prove that you made a wise choice by hiring me. I already fucking know that. So I'm usually going to do my job. And if I'm in the right place, that means you're going to celebrate me. And if I'm not, that means, oh crap, maybe this wasn't the place for me. But regardless, that doesn't mean I'm going to do anything differently, But yeah, that when we haven't learned that lesson yet, and we're trying to make transition. We can still be in this, but I got to keep proving. I got to keep proving to the past versus I got to allow myself to move into the future. I got to give myself that permission. I got to train my brain to think a different way. That I need to put more energy into what I'm creating than what I'm not, which means you also have to probably say no and hold boundaries better than you've ever done before. Boundaries is like, I know I've given Feisty on Friday with boundaries before, and I feel like I can't do it enough. Like I could do boundaries like every Friday for like the rest of the year. So, but that's a big part of transitioning to the next is making sure you have really, really strong boundaries on what it is you're trying to move away from, right? What are you saying no to? I'm actually currently in this situation, right? So I'm trying to transition, a little bit of my content, but also like who, the clients that I want to bring into my business. And, that means that I'm going to have to say no to some stuff. First of all, I'm going to have to say no to like giving away my work for free. It also means I'm going to have to say no to the kinds of clients that I used to say yes to, because I'm moving into something new. Is that Sarabi? Oh my God. Oh, it's so cool to have you here. That's my girl. From Luminary. She's such a force. And so Sarabi, today I'm talking about that people gotta stop giving 100% of their time to the past so they can start to put more energy into the future and what they're trying to create for themselves. You know what I'm saying? The people, and you're a career coach, like, like this thing that people do where they keep giving and giving to the thing they're trying to leave. And then they don't really give themselves the permission, the energy, the time to really go after what they want in the future. Right? Yes. Thank you. I'm so glad you like the topic. You should rewatch this because I'm on fire today. I'm just trying to tell it like it is. I'm just being like, you guys, because I tell my clients this all the time. You have to stop giving your energy to the past because you're just going to stay in the past. You have to really believe that the future is brighter for you. You have to believe that it is worth whatever consequences of doing 5% less or 10% less. And you know what? That's a great way to start. I'm not saying go from giving 100% to giving 20%. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just experiment with 5% less, right? What does that look like in terms of turning your computer off a few minutes early every day? Like just start small to give yourself permission to give more of yourself and your energy to what it is you're trying to create in your life, and really, I think uncovering, I think what I was talking about before you joined was like this idea like of validation, right? That we get addicted to the external validation or whatever's going on in our current job. Or maybe it's not even we're addicted to the positive things going on. Maybe we're addicted to the negative things going on because that happens too, right? Like we get addicted to maybe even the negative attention. Like that's a whole nother topic. And that's probably something a therapist needs to come on. Maybe that's a talk about a Tuesday topic, like what does it mean to be addicted to your emotions? Because like I understand that, I remember, in much of my youth and my childhood and even my adolescence, and even beyond, sadness was a feeling that I knew really well. And not that I wanted that feeling, right? But that it actually became a comforting feeling because it was kind of the emotion I was most familiar with. And so when my life started to change and I met my husband, and I started to see what was possible for my life, I realized that I felt like something was wrong if I wasn't feeling sad a lot. And that's kind of how I connect to this concept of like being addicted to emotions. And they don't necessarily have to be the highs. They can be the lows too, which is even more sad, right? Because then you're really staying in a place that doesn't serve you. So that concept is something that I'd offer in terms of, what is it that you're addicted to? Or like maybe another way to put it is, what are the hits that you're getting? Like what are the highs, that you're getting from continuing to put all this energy into the things that you're trying to walk away from, you know? And maybe it's sense of accomplishment, you know? Maybe it's whatever thing you have about what it means to be on your resume. Maybe like in the back of your mind, you're like, but if I just stay another 6 months, that means I'll hit my 5-year mark and blah, blah, blah. Like, is it really worth it? Like, is it really worth it to like hang on to that notion? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm just saying, like, if you are refusing to give less to what you're trying to walk away from, look at the deeper reasons why. And there's this idea, right, of asking that why like 5 times, so that you really, really get underneath what is keeping you connected and what is keeping you, I don't want to say stuck, maybe you're stuck, or maybe you're just, you know, you're just not willing to let go. But what is keeping you there? Really identify that and unpack that, because that is what's going to help you to finally make the choice to say, oh, I am totally going to say no to that meeting so that I can actually dust off my resume and do something about this that's constructive, you know? And, you know, there's just so much that we can do in terms of giving less. And again, the consequences are usually not as bad as we think. Like actually, it's probably better. It probably gets us away from like the perfectionist mentality that so many have, because it's indoctrinated into us, whether it's, you know, the society pressures, whether it's your upbringing, you know, but actually the practice of doing less, of not doing that third revision, can be life-changing, because, you know, then you realize good is good enough. Good is good enough, you know, and there might be one thing on your plate, right, that you really gotta get it done well. Fine, that's cool. Do that thing really, really well, and give less to the other things where really it's not gonna make a difference. And that's, I think, the distinction that you need to make, you know, the distinction between when is good enough. And, you know, I think you can also take small risks, right? So maybe don't do it with like the huge, gigantic, you know, deliverable that the CEO is looking at, you know. Maybe it's starting smaller than that, although I still say go ahead and give less to that. But like, you know, maybe it's even in the home environment. If it really scares you, if this idea really scares you, maybe it is, you know, spending 10 less minutes cleaning your bathroom. Maybe it's, you know, less time vacuuming. I don't know. I'm not having great examples, you know, but basically giving less where the stakes are really, really low. You know, maybe it's you have an hour call with your friend, but instead of an hour, you actually say you got to run at like 50 minutes in, just giving a little bit less. That type of thing. All right? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Is it landing? If you've watched this all the way to this point, like, please write a comment on my IG, like, or send me a DM, something. Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Anyway, yeah. So I think that's what I got. That's what I got. I hope you guys figure it out, because it will be the shorter path to the future that you're planning for yourself. And look, it's still January, right? And our dreams and our goals and our visions, I think, are probably still alive. You know, they're probably still very much in our aspirations. And so here's one way that you can continue and ebb into February with a new strategy for how you're going to bring that vision into reality. Where can you give less so that you can give more to your future? All right, y'all. All right, good to chat with you. I hope it's sunny and warm where you are. It's sunny but freezing where I am in Brooklyn. But you know, you take the good with the bad. I am grateful for the sun. Let me just say that. I'm grateful for the sun. Happy for like way more sunshine for as long as the universe wants to provide sunshine. All right. Good to see you, and ciao for now. Have a great weekend.